solid, fairly standard for this team to what Muslic has put out so far. This is what we're expecting to see now.
Yeah, pretty much. Not a lot of questions outside of potentially just kind of firming up if there's any outstanding questions as to whether or not like a Sanchez or something should be one of the starting three as opposed to one of the people listed in the 11 here. But outside of that, yeah, I agree. I just the things are we're not happy seeing Gantenbein in the lineup still probably overall, and I think questions. Ethan at Tedesca Time, our old buddy, brought up something interesting on X the other day, and he was basically saying that he feels like in the current shape that Muslic tends to orient the team in possession, that Antwi-Adjei potentially feels a little bit miscast at the moment, kind of being in that winger role. I think that's a little bit premature to say for me to some extent. I mean, just because I feel like, particularly against Hamburg to start the season, I thought he was very strong.
Hertha.
Sorry, Hertha. Excuse me, the other H team, the other.
Yeah, that's what we hate.
Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me on that. I thought he had a good showing in that game. Like jumps off the screen, and one of his strengths is like getting in behind and receiving the ball in those positions consistently. In addition to getting a lot of crosses in a high defensive work rate. And I just felt like, obviously, in this game, he didn't have success getting into those areas and seemed to really struggle kind of early in transition moments, but then also just really getting, once again, positionally in the final third and those kind of things. But it's been a mixed bag for me, but somebody to keep an eye on. And I thought that was a fair comment that, like, we want to change up where we're putting him fundamentally. Although it's kind of hard to determine where else that would be, because you're probably not going to slot him into that central midfield role unless he was coming on as like a substitute for like El Fauzi or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't think he'd like supplant either of those guys in that role at the moment. He's not like a true like defensive midfielder. He's not like a true winger. He's just kind of this like gadget guy that's like decent in possession. And like so it's a fair point, I think, and I just something to kind of monitor going forward.
And I think I agree with all those points. And I would play devil's advocate in saying that I think Antwi-Adjei has been, even though he had a bad game, not that great of a game this last game, I think he might have been our best player so far this season. Certainly in the Hertha match, you mentioned that. I thought Kaiserslautern, he was pretty good. He's like the only guy who really was playing well in that game, I thought. And he's been our main set piece guy. He might be just in the starting 11 because of that. He's
throw-ins too.
Throw-ins as well. I think Vitaly Becker is becoming a set piece guy. We're seeing him more and more, especially when Antwi-Adjei steps out, Becker takes over. But yeah, I mean, in this game, he certainly seemed lost. And when the team, we don't know if Silva's going to stay or not. There's rumors that this is going to be his last game this season with Schalke. We'll see how that happens. But like, we still have some guys like Lasma and Højlund and Remmert guys that could possibly insert into this lineup. And he's got Antwi-Adjei is probably going to be the first name you think of that's going to come out, because pretty much everyone else outside of Gantenbein is pretty much locked into the position. And I'm kind of with you with the Sanchez comment. I think I was a little surprised to see Kurashai heading into the match, just because I thought Sanchez didn't do anything to warrant to lose his spot. But I think, and tell me if you disagree, I think Kurashai has added a passing ability, kind of like a Kaminsky, where Sanchez hasn't done that. And he's helped contribute, certainly in the box with his head, but also his passing ability has been remarkably good in both medium range, long range, and short range. So I think it's a good mix to have with Katic and Becker back there, honestly. And I think
he's also like an intentional signing for this window under this regime. So I think that lends into it as more. I mean, not that Sanchez still can't potentially earn a spot or something, but and Becker is, we knew he was coming prior, to this regime to some extent as well. But Katic and Kurashai are purchased by him, so it makes sense that he's getting the run at the moment.